Hi, my name is Luke Monforte, and today I will be discussing the Sydney Lockout Laws policy. So just a quick overview of the actual rules of the policy. So the rules were that after 1:30 a.m, if you're not actually in a venue, you are no longer allowed to enter a venue. So clubs had to stop letting people in after 1:30, and so if you left a venue, even if you left a venue, you couldn't go back in. And also last call drinks were at 3 a.m, so after that no alcohol can be served on licensed premises. And also bottle shops had a mandatory closing time of 10 p.m. So background of the policy and the issue of the policy. So it was introduced in February 2014. This was 1 month after the death of Daniel Christie in January 2014, when he was celebrating New Year's at King's Cross, and he was king hit. He fell over and hit his head and was killed. The issue with the policy is many people have issues because they feel like they're being babied and they're having their rights taken away, as in they're not allowed to be as free at night as they were before, and the ones that are doing the right thing are being punished. And many also agree that it's killing Sydney's nightlife, which was once internationally known as a really popular and really fantastic nightlife scene, has now been watered down due to these laws. So stakeholders' perspective, so from what I've identified, there's two key stakeholders, and that's the nightclub and bar owners themselves, and the patrons, the ones who party, the ones who go out and visit these nightclubs on a regular basis. So since the lockout laws have been in effect, the nightclubs and bars have had to cut hours and, as a result, jobs, because there's no drinks after. Usually, clubs going until 7 o'clock have to be shut off now by 3 a.m. because they have to stop serving alcohol and they have to kick everyone out. And as a result of this, over 15 bars and clubs have actually had to close their doors since. This actually resulted in the patrons, which is one of the stakeholders, creating the group Keep Sydney Open. So just a bit about Keep Sydney Open. It's developed over 65,000 fans on Facebook. They've organised several rallies and protests about getting rid of lockout laws, or at least having them looked at by the government. Their main claim is, other than being babied and having their rights taken away, is that the policy itself is just a scheme to funnel more money through Star Casino, which the Star Casino is outside the lockout laws range and also has a 24-hour license. So the current government policy, which they used to better this, was they reviewed the laws in 2016 and they came to the conclusion to actually try and relax these laws. So what they did is they moved the timing for each law half hour later, so 1:30 a.m. to 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. The reason that this may seem so small is that the government felt that the policy was working and it was doing its job and it was decreasing crime rates and violence rates. But many studies since have just proven this to be flat out wrong. In fact, the violence has just moved to one location, which is the casino. So a few views on international policies similar to this. So the USA doesn't let anyone under 21 actually consume alcohol. So the age is actually 3 years older than the Australian age. They do have, most bars do have a 3 a.m. last call, although it varies depending on location. They don't have a 1:30 lockout law, but they do have more police officers and security officers doing roaming checks. This actually is kind of a benefit because it does create more jobs. In London is another example. They don't really have a real policy lockout system. Their last call differentiates just like the US, depending on where they are. They do have an early morning alcohol restriction order, which they can stop serving alcohol if they choose to. And they, again, like the USA, they have more police and security on patrol throughout the USA. Similar to the USA, sorry. So my policy approach would be to remove the current laws. I would put in place a intoxication identifier program. What this would do is it would train bar staff and security to identify quicker intoxicated people, which would be able to cut them off quicker and create a safer environment. And also, as a result of this, the last call would be set more of on an individual basis. You basically, if they feel like you've had enough and they can identify it better because of the policy that I put in place, then you can't have any more alcohol. And just like from the USA and London, more security and more police put in place to patrol. And as I said, this would create more jobs and be better for the economy. So those are my references, and thank you for listening.